Wait, how many times have you held it in today? Did you swallow words you wanted to say? Choose unremarkable clothes instead of what you wanted to wear? Or delete a post you were about to upload to social media? We say, I am free every day. But in reality, we censor ourselves in front of thousands of invisible eyes. And that censorship is not something forced by the state. It is precisely what we do to each other. In 1859, one man captured this uncomfortable truth in a single book, John Stuart Mill. His On Liberty was published over 160 years ago, but it still lives and breathes at this very moment in your timeline, your office, and your family dinner table. Today, we aren't here to give a philosophy lecture. We are here to talk about why you shouldn't hold back that thing you suppressed today. Now, here's a question. Should we block someone who claims the earth is flat, or should we listen? Most people answer block because it's obviously wrong. But Mill says the exact opposite. Even a wrong opinion must be allowed to be spoken. Why? We just need to remember how often the things we believed were certainly right turned out to be wrong in history. In the days when people believed the sun revolved around the earth, the majority silenced Galileo. In the days when people believed mental illness was moral depravity, the majority imprisoned the patients. That majority was always certain they were right. This is exactly why Mill's words feel so chilling. If all mankind minus one were of one opinion, mankind would be no more justified in silencing that one person. We gain two things when we listen to a wrong opinion. If it's truly wrong, our own thoughts become more solid as we refute it. If it happens to be right, we move one step closer to the truth. The only thing that prevents both refutation and growth is silence. But there is a prison more terrifying than the loss of free speech, and it is neither the law nor the state. It's not forbidden by law, so why can't we do it? Dye your hair blue, and people ask, what's wrong with them? Say you're vegan, and they say, don't be so sensitive. Choose not to marry, and they warn, you'll be lonely later. No law stops these things. Yet, countless people simply don't do them. Mill called this the tyranny of the majority and said it is more terrifying than the law. While the law only blocks actions, public opinion and custom lock the very soul. In modern language, it is cancel culture. When someone goes against the majority sentiment, the group erases them from society without any legal punishment. Isn't it scary? And what's scarier is that they do it believing it's right. But Mill asked, are unique and wrong the same thing? Individuality is not a mere preference for Mill. It was the engine of human progress. So, does liberty have no limits at all? Mill didn't say that either. Now, let's play a balance game. When riding a motorcycle alone without a helmet, should the state forcibly prevent it? What if an adult is smoking marijuana in their own room? What about hate speech directed at a specific group in a public place? Mill would judge these three scenarios completely differently. That criterion is the harm principle. The core is simple. Only when harming others can society limit an individual's freedom. Not wearing a helmet harms yourself, Mill says. Even this should not be prevented, because your body belongs to you. Hate speech is different. It gives real fear and harm to a specific group, and this can be limited. This principle is still under debate. The conflict over drug legalization in various countries, the debate on regulating online hate speech, all are battles derived from this one line from Mill. There are no easy answers, and Mill might not have known either, but at least he left the right question. Ask first to those who seek to limit freedom. Who do you say was harmed? John Stuart Mill was a genius who learned Greek at age 3 and Latin at age 8. However, this man with a cold and perfect brain crumbled before just one person, Harriet Taylor. The problem was that she was a married woman. The two loved each other for over 20 years since they first met in 1830, but the prison of social gaze confined them. Being together caused a scandal, and Mill could only marry her in 1851 after her husband passed away. And just 7 years later, Harriet passed away. 2 years after her death, in 1859, Mill published On Liberty and wrote this dedication: to the beloved and deplored memory of her who was the inspirer and in part the author of all that is best in my writings, I dedicate this volume. To Mill, individual liberty was not an abstract theory. It was a rage against the world that prevented him from walking with the one he loved, and a resistance toward a society that treated difference as a sin. The most universal philosophy is born from the most private wounds. So, what meaning does Mill's On Liberty hold for those of us living in this era today? Let's go back to the first question. How many times did you hold back today? The liberty Mill speaks of is not doing whatever I want. It is enduring the differentness of others, making space for their voices even when uncomfortable, and having the courage to value the truth of a single person more than the applause of the majority. It's not easy. It's uncomfortable. So liberty is a discipline before it is a right. At this very moment, if there is a word you swallowed, ask yourself, did I harm anyone? If the answer is no, then that word deserves to come out into the world. Your differentness is not a defect. It is a possibility that this society has not yet understood. 160 years ago, a man wrote this book because he could not freely hold hands with the person he loved. His battle is not over right now. You are the protagonist of that battle. Whose thought is your thought? Your differentness is your value.